Palace. Joining me on the set, our foreign editor, Angela Diffley. Hello to you. Angela, there's been some talk that the far-right leader, Marine Le Pen, is actually going to be kingmaker in all of this. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, as Claire said, she was, in a sense, given a veto over the appointment of who might be Prime Minister. Macron tried several names. He had to find someone who wouldn't immediately be toppled. Without giving Barnier a green light entirely, she let it be known that they wouldn't go out of their way to topple him. That means that the far-right Rassemblement National, who Macron and most of the political establishment told the French electorate were outside the bounds of what was proper democratic politics in France, they have now ended up with being in a position to say this person will be Prime Minister, this person won't. It isn't quite as straightforward as that. Claire was talking about how the left, indeed, have said this election was stolen from us. But this election was quite difficult to read. In the European elections which preceded it, the Rassemblement National did extremely well. Then in the elections which finished on July the 7th, the parliamentary elections, it was difficult to draw clear conclusions. 9 million people, the largest popular vote, went to the Rassemblement National. 9 million, the next was 7 million or so. So if you look at the popular vote, the largest number of people voted for the Rassemblement National. Over 50% of French people voted for some right-wing government or party. Nevertheless, the party with the highest number of MPs was this left-wing alliance. So, what was Macron to make of that? It should be said that the left-wing alliance perhaps didn't play its card very well. The person they nominated didn't spend the summer negotiating and trying to find some compromise deal with members of the centre. They were fairly clear that they would stick pretty much to their own manifesto. Many people question whether those on the left really wanted to be in government, and the same could be said of Marine Le Pen's party as well. It's not as straightforward as all of that. It should be said that Barnier can be toppled at any time, but do those MPs really want to find themselves back in front of the electorate very quickly? They can arithmetically get rid of Michel Barnier, but it is to be supposed that probably he will have enough votes to get that budget through. Marine Le Pen has a court case coming up. She probably doesn't want to have the distraction of more elections. We'll see where it all goes, but it's all very, very messy. Barnier is seen as the person who might have a chance of making this thing work by Macron.
And so what do you think we should expect from this new Prime Minister?
Well, for someone who's had a very long career in politics, he does not have a lot of enemies. Everybody says that he is good at building consensus. Outside France, of course, he's best known as leading the team in the Brexit negotiations with Britain. He was the person behind that idea that the 27 members would stay absolutely united in negotiations with Britain. Now, that might have fallen apart at any time had he been antagonistic towards one or other members of those the European Union, but he didn't. He's good at finding consensus. That is something very much which will help him. Macron, of course, will be very interested in the fact that he doesn't have presidential ambitions himself. Barnier, he tried and failed quite spectacularly in 2022. Macron himself won't be standing again. He can't after 2 terms. But it's good to know that your Prime Minister isn't operating in a way that will enhance his chances for an upcoming presidential election. That's something in his favour. Something else very important about Barnier is that he's not just a member of the Paris or the Brussels elite. He has very strong roots in the Alps, where he grew up. He was responsible for that Olympic bid way back, the Winter Olympics, which were held in Albertville way back in the 90s. He has a very strong connection with France outside Paris and Brussels, so he's likely to have his finger more on the pulse than some prime ministers. It is to be hoped that that might help him. The thing that matters above everything is that budget. They have to present a draft proposal by the 1st of October. He has to have a team in place by then and some kind of draft budget that will be passed. Otherwise, mayhem.
All right, Angela, thank you very much.